Hello guys, Sendou here again. So today what we're gonna do is take a look at one of the ranked modes, tower control. So I made a video about how to make a push happen, so I think naturally we should return to this a bit and now talk about how to actually defend that push. Which is like half the mode when you think about it. So defending a push can often be pretty challenging. Like, I think this is one of the areas for this mode where I have most to learn myself. But there's a couple tips that's gonna make it a lot easier for you. I think the first one that should like be the basic we just start with is just, you know, the map knowledge, which really is the same in every mode. Everything you do in this game you have to know the map well. But in TC, like, you have to know, you know, where the tower is gonna go from, where it's gonna stop at, and so on. Because if you didn't play Splatoon 1, then new in this game are these checkpoints where if you take the tower and you have to stop at these points for a short while. So you definitely have to know where the checkpoints are and so on, like how, like they have to stay here for 10 seconds, right? So this would be an opportunity for you to defend this, but only if you know this. Like if you have no idea, like, okay, well, we're defending and you have no idea where the tower is gonna stop, then it's not gonna work in your benefit. So definitely always learn the maps, and this is where like grinding solo queue comes to help, where you really like learn these maps really well. But yeah, like how it normally works is that the first checkpoint is almost impossible to defend, then the second and checkpoints after that are a lot more doable. So yeah, normally like when they start a push, then of course it depends on map. Like, I'm not gonna say it's the same for every map, but it depends on the map. But first checkpoint often is like, you know, if you get wiped and they start pushing, it's just let them take first checkpoint. Because just think about, like, if a whole team like goes all out, like, attack against to save this checkpoint, like, oh yeah, oh, we're so good, and then they kill you, this is signifying them killing you, and they kill your teammates, well, suddenly it's gonna look a lot worse situation. So when you think about it, it's not so bad if they push to 70, 60 or even 50 in most maps. So I would definitely recommend giving up the first checkpoint at this stage, keeping up the height advantage here, and just, you know, using your height advantage here. And that's the second thing that's really important, is like taking advantage of the height. So when you think about how the maps are constructed, really your spawn is the highest point normally, and then the middle is the lowest point, kind of. And overlooking middle, there's like different structures that are offering height advantage. And in every like 1v1 or every encounter you do in this game, like height advantage is always like really significant. Because when you think about like weapons like spatter shot and stuff, they always have like a bigger difficulty at shooting at the guys above them. So that's like one of the big benefits I have for playing Blaster, but you know, many people still play, for example, let's take the spatter shot here if I can actually just find it. So height advantage. I have spatter shot now. And that's like the main reason why pushing is hard, because your enemies are gonna be taking high ground, so yeah, like I have high ground, so I can shoot them straight, but maybe spatter shot, it's gonna be a bit like drop off and stuff, like awkward angles, like can't always even shoot at them and stuff. But this doesn't work that way if you just blindly drop down and, you know, they just rush you and kill you. So always take high advantage. Third thing I'd say is that don't tunnel vision the tower at all times. Because if you think about it, if you tunnel vision the tower and in the meanwhile there's like some guy who's gonna like paint your whole base here, like your whole base, and then you wiped and then you look at your base and, you know, this is not the color we want our base to be. And it's suddenly gonna be super hard for you to even come back here, because, you know, taking this rail, for example, the pressure with subs, like if you drop down, they splash down on your ass, like. So it's definitely situational, and that's the difficulty of making guides for this game, because everything's so situational and it depends on what's going on in the game. But I'm just saying, like, you can never ignore a guy who's like gonna like come here and flank and so on. Like, sometimes it's better to just let the tower take a couple points and deal with the guy who's like trying to commodity flake, like flank here. Like if they're a good team, they're gonna flank you when they push, so it's just like be expecting it basically. So yeah, that's like the third thing would be don't tunnel vision tower. And then very important thing about Splatoon in general is it's a very special focused game, right? So everything you do has something to do with specials, and I think like defending especially has a lot to do with special. And one special comes to mind, and that special is everyone's eternal favorite, Stingray. So Stingray, to me, it's almost essential for tower control. Maybe not on all maps, but I would say like I'm pretty uncomfortable if we do a team comp that doesn't have a Stingray for tower control. Just like how good it is really at defending. I mean, it's you know when you think about it, like Raymaker still good, Spat Zone still good, but for DC especially because the target is so stationary, like easy to hit, and you know it's very easy to get like multi kills when you like Stingray. So this is like some common mistake I see, that people use Stingray too early, or that they don't even have it ready at all. So if you feel like you never have a Stingray ready when you actually need it, it might be helpful for you to run some special saver or something that lets you have it when you most need it. But yeah, also like don't use it too early. Like we talked about, like these points don't matter too much. Like you can just let them have them, like no problem. But you know, when the tower starts coming here, it can be super hard to defend actually, and especially if it reaches here, then you probably already need some kind of special to get rid of it. So then, you know, having a Stingray to get kills on the tower and then maybe get one more pick for a total of 2 is pretty huge actually. Just your team can push back in. So I think eventually almost every like defense will always come down to specials, and it's not just Stingray either. It's also like stuff like Ink Armor. It can even be like stuff like missiles. It can be Bomb Rush. It can be Rain Cloud. Like basically anything like that that gives us advantage over the enemy team. Just also at the same time expect them to have specials as well. So okay, we have specials, but we also have to look out for their specials, right? But eventually you'll probably be able to defend the push. If not, then well, game's over and you try again. But what happens after the push is defended? Because that's like one pretty big mistake that people do. Is that they like, okay, well, oh well, they're all dead, well, I guess our job is done here, let's think about attacking. No. If they were defending, then you can assume they have all the map control in the middle, and if you don't get the map control back, then they're gonna just come back and kill you again and start pushing again. So definitely the first moment you get, just get bad map control in the middle. That allows you to set up for your own pushes and also stops them from making one of their own. So yeah, I think those are the most important ones for sure. So just to clarify, first would be, you know, this light right here is free. Like if they rush me, like it's a free kill for me, like no problem. Second would be keep height advantage. This is the same as splash zones or anything else. Don't just mindlessly drop down without a plan. Like it doesn't do any good. It is true that in some sense, when you trade while defending, you're at an advantage, because when you think about it, how the objective is here, so the focus, this is like the central point of the game, right? So for me, my spawn is here, their spawn, I can barely see it. So trades are generally in your favor because it takes longer for them to come back, and mostly they have jump, and jumps are also, you know, easy to punish normally. And also with height advantage, I mentioned, like, okay, we talk about specials, but same thing with sub weapons. Like you pressure with sub weapons on tower, it's super strong, and it forces them to do some wacky stuff on the tower to stay alive. Third stuff would be, you know, also watch the flanks. Like don't tunnel vision tower. If you do it, then most likely you will get wiped by some crazy flanker who comes here and wipes you and inks this whole area, and that's like super bad for you. And yeah, and the fourth stuff would be use specials in the end to get rid of the guys on the tower, especially Stingray, but also specials too. Super necessary stuff, like it's pretty rare that without special you're able to completely defend the push. And lastly we have, once you get good wipe or good advantage, doesn't have to be wipe, can be advantage, meaning you have more players up than they do, go in, get map control back so you can push because you will probably want to push, and stop Herndon making a second push. But I think that's like the very basics of it. I'm gonna say like that's comprehensive guide or anything, but I think if you follow these guidelines you're doing many things correct already. And yeah, maybe I should make another video at some point that goes into a bit more detail. But I think for now, like, this gives a good idea of what you should be doing in tower control, and hopefully lets you win some more of those solo queue games. Okay, one more thing. What is normal? What is like normal where your teammates wanna go? Like we talked about this when we were pushing tower. Okay, but it's the same when defending, right? Like you don't want like all the four, like there's like one person here, one person here, one person here, one person here. Everyone's just doing this. So they have special. Like no. Flanks are still very powerful when you are defending. Like boom, I flanked them. And it's potentially very big benefits. And it depends on the map what you wanna do, but I'd say like the rule of thumb really is that you want 3 guys staying in front and defending like this, like protecting the map control here and pressuring with specials and sub weapon. And then one guy is the guy can go for flanks and try to get multi kills that way. But you can have like on most maps I'd say it's pretty bad to have like 2 or 3 guys flanking all of a sudden, because it can result in the awkward situation where even if you do get tower at the same time they can be already be pushing here. And if you think about it, if for example for the reef, if you decide that okay 3 guys are gonna be flanking there, but it's probable that you get a tower that way. But what if at the same time 3 of them are like pushing forward and they are able to get the guy defending here and they are able to get map control here? Then they come back, they have height advantage over you, and they kill 3 guys here, they on tower. That's like game over instantly, because they have the map control over there, and so on. So I'd say like, if you have no idea what to do, like in solo queue or whatever, but if 3 of your teammates are defending, then go for flank. But if someone's already flanking, then just go mid and like, just hold it like the regular way. I think that's like the good basic rule. But yeah, okay, that's it for real this time. And if you have any questions, leave a comment, and see you guys next time.